Welcome to this deep dive, brought to you by Stonefly, a leader in enterprise storage, backup and disaster recovery, AI storage, and cloud solutions.
That's right.
If you're looking for secure, ransomware-proof storage, remember, Stonefly sells air-gapped and immutable storage. You can contact sales at stonefly.com to schedule a demo.
Good point.
Today, we're really getting into a significant shift that's happening in cybersecurity incident response, how companies handle these things.
Yeah, we're looking at BreachRx. They started up in 2020, just got some new funding, and the problem they're tackling is, well, it's pretty fundamental, isn't it?
It really is. The old ways of dealing with cyber attacks, they often feel, well, chaotic, outdated even.
Totally chaotic. You know, the traditional approach, it often feels like...
Like grabbing an old binder off the shelf when things are already hitting the fan.
Exactly. Paper plans, maybe you do a tabletop exercise once a year, but it's not quite real, is it?
Not really. And the legal teams, often just focused on minimizing disclosure after the damage is done.
Which, as we've seen, can be slow, incredibly expensive.
And it can even put CISOs, leadership, in a really tight spot legally.
Which is why what BreachRx is doing is interesting. They're trying to shift away from that reactive scramble.
Towards something more controlled, intelligent.
That's the idea. Yeah. Building a platform to sort of inject some order into that cyber chaos.
Okay, so that leads us to their main thing, this intelligence incident response platform. Big phrase.
It is.
Their goal is operational resilience across the whole company. Now, operational resilience, that sounds a bit like jargon.
It can, yeah.
Can you break that down? What does it actually mean when you're, say, under attack?
Okay, so think of it like this. It's not just about bouncing back after an incident. It's about keeping the essential parts of the business running while it's happening.
So maintaining operations through the crisis with minimal disruption.
Precisely. BreachRx wants to provide the framework, the tools, to basically keep the lights on, keep critical things moving, even when there's an attack going on.
Got it. So how does the platform actually do this? It must be more than just a checklist.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's designed to automatically generate response plans. But here's the key.
Yeah.
They're tailored.
Tailored how?
To the specific type of incident and, importantly, to the organization's own setup, its environment. It's not a generic thing.
Right. No one size fits all.
Exactly. And then it gives specific guidance to the right people, the stakeholders who need to act at every single step.
So instead of digging through a huge playbook wondering what applies, you get a dynamic, specific plan showing who does what, when. That sounds way more efficient.
It's meant to be. And it covers everything, the whole cycle.
Like from preparing beforehand?
Yep. Preparation, the actual response, recovery, making sure you're compliant afterwards, and even running realistic practice drills.
So it's really shifting from just bracing for impact to actively building that response muscle.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Building the muscle memory, yeah. Proactive, not just reactive.
And it seems like compliance is built right in, not bolted on later.
Yeah.
You mentioned regulatory requirements, instructions, deadlines.
Absolutely baked in. With today's legal landscape, all the different rules and regulations, it's huge.
Keeping track of all that manually must be a nightmare.
It is. Federal, state, international, it's constantly changing. So having a platform that integrates that gives you actionable steps. That takes a massive weight off. Helps avoid fines, legal trouble.
Okay, what about communication? That's often where things fall apart during an incident, right? Silos between security, legal, PR.
Oh, absolutely. Critical point. The platform is built to help with that too. It aims for transparency, smooth communication between all those different teams.
Security, legal, comms, the execs, all on the same page.
That's the goal. While still, and this is important, protecting legal privilege. A central hub so everyone sees the right info at the right time.
So the aim isn't just faster response, it's smarter, more coordinated, protecting the whole company, top to bottom.
Exactly. Think about breach costs millions, potentially. If BreachRx helps contain things faster, using pre-vetted legal guides within the platform.
You could seriously cut those costs. Downtime, fines.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And, crucially, having that documented defensible process, that offers some protection for the CISO, for the executives, from that personal liability risk we mentioned.
They call it a browser-based workspace. Makes sense, right? Accessible, brings everyone together digitally.
Yeah, that central workspace is really key. It lets you clearly define who does what, the timelines.
Which, in the middle of chaos, must be invaluable.
Paramount. Knowing who's responsible for task A by time B, it cuts through the confusion, allows for real collaboration.
And you mentioned it automates creating playbooks for different incident types. How much time does that actually save a company, realistically?
Well, think about all the different threats out there. Ransomware, data theft, denial of service, building and maintaining plans for all of those manually.
It sounds incredibly resource intensive.
It is. So having those pre-built but still customizable playbooks ready to go, it speeds up that initial response massively. Teams can focus on doing, not scrambling to figure out what to do.
Plus, generating reports. For the board, auditors, regulators, that tracking and measuring piece seems vital.
Absolutely. Showing due diligence, maintaining trust, and that audit trail feature, super important for compliance, especially with reporting rules getting stricter.
Like the SEC rules.
Exactly. And having integrated secure communication channels helps keep sensitive discussions protected and documented.
Okay, so BreachRx just closed a big funding round, $15 million Series A.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong signal from the market.
An oversubscribed round, too. That usually means investors are really buying into the vision.
It suggests strong confidence, definitely, in the tech, the team, the market need.
Led by Ballistic Ventures, others involved too, brings their total funding over $23 million now. What does that money let them do?
It fuels growth, basically, scaling up operations. They've said they'll expand engineering to build out the product faster, grow the go-to-market teams to reach more customers.
And build out their partner network, MSSPs, consultants.
Right. Expanding that ecosystem helps them reach and support a wider range of organizations.
It's also really interesting who they've brought on board, Kevin Mandia joining the board of directors.
Yeah, that's a huge name in incident response, former Mandia CEO.
Decades of frontline experience with massive breaches. What does someone like him bring?
I mean, immense credibility, right?
Yeah.
Unparalleled expertise. His belief in the platform, saying it can boost effectiveness and resilience, that's a massive endorsement.
And Nicole Perlroth, author, former NYT cybersecurity reporter, she's a board observer. Different perspective there.
Totally. Her focus on how companies are judged by their communication during a crisis,
Yeah.
that's such a critical layer.
How you talk about it can be almost as important as how you fix it.
Often, yeah. Trust, reputation, it hinges on that communication. So her insight adds a really valuable dimension to their strategy.
And we should mention the co-founders, Andy Lunsford and Matt Hartley. Their background spans cybersecurity, privacy, compliance.
Right, across different industries, too. That firsthand experience of the actual challenges, the pressures.
That probably drives the whole vision, doesn't it? Building something they know is needed because they've lived it.
Very likely. You often get more practical, user-focused solutions when the leaders have been in the trenches themselves.
And it looks like this approach is working. They're reporting, what, over 3x annual recurring revenue growth for 2 years straight?
Yeah, significant growth. And they have over 100 customers now, including Fortune 500s, public companies.
In critical sectors, too, like finance and healthcare. That's strong validation.
It really is. Shows there's a real market need and that their solution is hitting the mark for serious organizations. Getting big names signed up shows the platform is enterprise ready.
There's even a quote from Greenhill, the investment bank. They're using BreachRx to be more proactive, using the automation, the central communication.
Right, migrating their whole program onto the platform. That's a solid, real-world case study.
Shows the tangible benefits.
Yeah.
Efficiency, coordination, getting ahead of incidents rather than just reacting.
Exactly. Proactive posture, better preparedness for when, not if, something happens.
So looking bigger picture, what's the overarching vision here? For BreachRx and maybe for incident response generally?
Fundamentally, I think it's about bringing that order to chaos we mentioned, shifting from reactive panic
to proactive orchestration.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Letting organizations handle these things with more confidence, more credibility. And a big piece is helping them navigate that complex web of legal and regulatory stuff.
Which just keeps getting more complicated.
It really does. And they're planning more platform enhancements too, right? Faster triage, better data insights.
Deeper integrations with other security tools everyone's already using. Sounds like constant improvement is baked in.
That commitment is clear. More speed, more actionable intelligence, making it work seamlessly with the existing security stack. It all aims to streamline things even further.
The investors, Ballistic Ventures, they talk about that need for clarity, coordination during a crisis. They see BreachRx as that central hub.
Providing the clear roles, the automated playbooks, and that crucial auditability.
It really does sound like a comprehensive approach to a complex problem.
And the investor view reflects that growing understanding, doesn't it? That good incident response isn't a nice to have anymore. It's core business.
A business imperative. And they see BreachRx enabling that readiness, that accountability everyone's demanding now.
Exactly. Stakeholders, regulators, the pressure is on.
So it points towards a future where cyber resilience isn't just about recovery, is it? It's the whole life cycle.
It has to be. Being ready beforehand, responding well during, and learning, improving afterwards. It's a continuous cycle.
Preparation, response, improvement, a constant adaptation.
That holistic view is essential, yeah.
Yeah.
Building a security posture that can actually weather these storms, because the storms aren't stopping.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. BreachRx, they're using serious funding, top expertise to build this intelligent platform.
Aiming to fundamentally change how companies handle incidents.
Moving from reactive scrambling to proactive, coordinated, more resilient responses. Tackling security, legal, and regulatory needs all together.
Yeah, the bottom line is empowering organizations, helping them respond with more resolve, less risk, maybe save money, and definitely time through automation, better collaboration, using intelligence smartly.
All right, so here's a final thought for you, the listener. Cyber incidents aren't going away. They're getting more common, more complex, and everyone's watching how companies respond.
The scrutiny is intense.
So how critical will it become for an organization's survival, its trustworthiness, to be able to orchestrate a response that's clear, coordinated, and totally compliant? Is that the new baseline?
That really is the key question for every organization out there, isn't it?
Definitely something to think about. This deep dive was brought to you by Stonefly, a leader in enterprise storage, backup and disaster recovery, AI storage, and cloud solutions.
Don't forget, they offer air-gapped and immutable storage for ransomware protection.
That's right. Secure, ransomware-proof storage. Contact sales at stonefly.com to schedule your demo.